So one thing that really surprised me is like the UX knowledge that's shared. So the question I want to ask was, say like a new designer wants to promote their work. I mean, we've got so many platforms now, but it's hard to know which one to focus your time. Like we have Dribble, we have people's own blog posts, Medium, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. I mean, from your own experience, what would you say would be the good time investment for a designer who's not necessarily trying to be a thought leader, but they want to have a presence online so people can see that they've got validity to the work and the stuff that they actually do? I mean, what would you say would be, like, I suppose, the top 3 platforms, like LinkedIn, you know, from the ones which I've mentioned, or maybe others that we haven't even heard of?
Yeah, truthfully, to speak from my own experience, Instagram hasn't really brought me like direct clients or work inquiries as much as LinkedIn has. So for me, even with a huge following on Instagram, still LinkedIn works best for finding jobs, networking with people who might help grow my career. And so I would start by telling everyone that they should be using LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is right now at a stage where the algorithm is very generous, because you posts are shown based on what your network interacts with, and so it's easier to be discovered. And if you have some successful posts, it will easily reach more people, or maybe not necessarily more, but more let's say similar, or more in the realms of what's
Focused.
relevant to you. Focused, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say LinkedIn is really important. In terms of format, I think that if you're in the early stages, or not necessarily early, even senior stage, and you want to share something around the work you are doing, I think that you might want to leverage some platforms like Dribble or Behance. But I have something against Dribble and Behance if people just resort to putting images out there, some flashy screens, eye candy stuff with no context, no explanation. I hate that. I don't want to encourage that. I want people to actually take the time to build a case study and help people. So Medium would also be great for that. I think Medium is an excellent channel to tell your work experience, to share your the problems you've solved, the products you worked on. So everything, yeah, Medium is awesome. So I would say link, yeah.
No, I think
So
no,
I
I
mean,
think that that's a great summary. So we have Instagram to kind of just like grow the reach, right? You're reaching a ton of people. You can get the content out. You can get the consistency out. LinkedIn is like the next level down, right? Where you can kind of get these real job connections, the deeper relationships, almost like that one-on-one interaction to kind of filter through, which is very difficult on Instagram at times. And then I love how you framed Medium. I agree with you that it's a missed opportunity for a lot of designers. And you also kind of highlighted my biggest concern with Dribble and, you know, other similar platform and Beyonce, is that you don't see the process. And I think most UX designers grow by looking at their own process, learning from other people's process, and documenting their process. And Medium gives you the opportunity to do that. So that's actually the first time I've heard those 3, but I think it's a great summary of like where I would personally invest my time as well. Again,
I mean, it
don't
sounds
have 200,000 Instagram followers though. So,
but I mean, I suppose it sounds more like as like what your strategy or what your intent is. If your intent is to build up a following as a thought leader or just sharing knowledge, mentorship, then Instagram seems like the place to be. Right. If the thing you're trying to do is develop a portfolio and like to get on the career path, then LinkedIn. Which I mean, I completely agree. I think LinkedIn is really under. What would be the word? Like it's like has this image of it's just this like rubbish, crappy site. But again, some of the most meaningful career relationships have been developed from that, and I actually really respect it as a platform. And I think there's this kind of, because it looks very blue and corporate-y, like it has this negative thing. But it's like I've said this to Ryan before. It's better to have 1,000 users or 1,000 like followers who are actively engaged in 100,000 where maybe 2 or 3 are actively engaged. And I think LinkedIn's got that focus. So yeah, nice. I suppose again, just to summarize, I think it's you have to build your strategy, right? Like depending on what you're trying to achieve in your career.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really is really dependent on what you want to achieve, what do you want to get out of it, why are you doing it. So start with that question. Why? Like with any design challenge.